Hi everyone, it's Charlotte here. And before we dive into today's episode, I just want to start with a massive thank you. Seriously, thank you so much to each and every one of you who subscribe to Speak Power Daily. Your support, your messages, your dedication to learning English, it means the world. Every like, every comment, every share, it fuels this channel and inspires me to keep creating content that helps you grow. And if this is your first time here, welcome to the family. Now, let's get real for a second. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, I listen to English podcasts all the time, but my English isn't getting better? Maybe you're listening during your commute, while cooking, or even just before bed. But somehow, it feels like nothing is changing. You don't feel more fluent. Your vocabulary isn't growing. Your confidence, still shaky. I hear this all the time. And here's the truth that no one likes to say out loud. Just listening to English podcasts isn't enough. Think about it. How many hours have you spent listening, only to forget most of what you heard? You're not alone. This happens to thousands of learners. Here's the key question I want you to ask yourself today. Are you really learning, or just hearing English? It's a subtle but powerful difference, and understanding it could be the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Most learners waste time not because they're lazy, but because they're using podcasts the wrong way. They think exposure is the same as learning, but exposure is just the beginning. What you do with that exposure is what makes the difference. Imagine this. Two people listen to the exact same podcast episode. One walks away with new expressions, pronunciation practice, and a stronger ear for the language. The other remembers maybe 2 words. What separates them isn't intelligence, it's strategy. It's the method. In this episode, we're going to fix that. We're going to shift from passive listening to active learning. I'll guide you step by step on how to transform your podcast time into real, measurable progress. This means you won't just listen, you'll grow. But before we dive into the how, let's talk about the why. Because understanding this will give you the motivation to change. Why do some people learn English incredibly fast using podcasts, while others stay stuck, even after months of listening? Why do some learners turn a 10-minute podcast into a vocabulary breakthrough, while others can't recall a single useful phrase? The difference is not luck. It's not talent. It's intentional practice. And that's what today's video is all about. I'm going to teach you how to take control of your time, your focus, and your learning results. Here's what's coming. The biggest mistake most people make when using podcasts. Why passive listening is slowing you down. Simple techniques to boost retention, focus, and fluency. How to use tools like transcripts, repetition, and shadowing to make every podcast work for you. And if you've been feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or just tired of not seeing progress, I want you to know it's not your fault. You just haven't had the right system. By the end of this video, you'll have a powerful new approach to using podcasts that will finally move the needle on your English learning journey. So grab a notebook, stay focused, and let's take the first step together. Ready? Let's go. All right. Let's talk about the biggest mistake English learners make when using podcasts. It's this: passive listening. Now, what is passive listening? It's when you press play on an English podcast and just let it run in the background while doing other things. Maybe you're walking, scrolling through social media, cleaning your room, or even half asleep on the bus. You're hearing English, yes, but you're not truly engaging with it. And the worst part? You feel like you're making progress, but you're not. It gives the illusion of productivity without the real benefits. That's why so many learners get frustrated. They say, "But I listen every day," and still don't see results. Let me be super clear. Listening without intention is just noise. This kind of listening doesn't challenge your brain. It doesn't make you pause and think, "What does that word mean?" Or, "How would I say that sentence myself?" It doesn't give your mind the chance to build connections, to analyze, or to store what you hear in your long-term memory. And if your brain isn't working, your language isn't improving. Now, don't get me wrong. Passive listening has its place. It's great for building comfort with the language. It helps your ears get used to the flow, the accents, the rhythm of spoken English. It's like background music for your brain. But if that's all you're doing, your growth will eventually stop. So what's the alternative? You need to switch to active listening. Active listening means you are present. You're focused. You're treating the podcast like a classroom, not a playlist. You're not just hearing the words, you're studying them. You're stopping the audio to repeat phrases. You're looking up unfamiliar vocabulary. You're asking yourself questions and testing your memory. And here's the big surprise. Active listening doesn't have to take more time. 10 focused minutes of active listening can give you more progress than 1 hour of passive noise. Let me give you a real-world example. Imagine two learners, Anna and Lucas. Anna listens to English podcasts while doing laundry. She likes the sound of English in the background. It feels productive. But she doesn't take any notes. She doesn't repeat anything. And by the end of the episode, she can't really remember what it was about. Lucas listens to the same podcast, but he sets aside 15 minutes just to listen. He pauses when he hears something interesting. He rewinds to repeat a difficult phrase. He writes down 3 new words. And at the end, he explains the episode out loud in English as if he's teaching it to someone else. Guess who gets results? It's Lucas, every single time. Because he's not just consuming. He's interacting. He's turning input into action. He's practicing memory, pronunciation, listening, and even speaking, all from one short episode. This is the power of active listening. So let me leave you with this thought. Listening without intention is entertainment. Listening with intention is transformation. From today, start listening with purpose. Don't treat podcasts like background music. Treat them like a personal language coach. Pause, rewind, repeat, reflect. Use them to train your brain, not just to fill silence. Because every time you listen actively, you're not just hearing English, you're owning it. And that's the key to unlocking real progress. In the next section, I'll give you a simple, powerful step-by-step routine you can use with any podcast to make your study time super effective. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Now that you understand why passive listening isn't enough, let's dive into the good stuff. How to use podcasts the right way. This is where the transformation happens. Here's your step-by-step routine to turn any podcast episode into a powerful, personalized English lesson. You don't need fancy tools or expensive apps, just a podcast, a notebook, and most importantly, your focus. Step 1. Choose the right podcast. Start by picking a podcast that matches your current English level. Not too easy, not too difficult. If it's too hard, you'll get discouraged. If it's too easy, you'll stop growing. Look for shows that speak at a natural but clear pace. Bonus points if they include transcripts. Also, choose topics you actually enjoy. If you love business, listen to business podcasts. If you're into pop culture, find a podcast about that. Interest equals focus, and focus equals faster learning. Step 2. Listen once without stopping. Hit play and just listen to the full episode from start to finish. Don't pause. Don't take notes. Just listen for the overall idea. What's the topic? What's the tone? This helps your brain form a mental map of the content. This is your big picture listening. Step 3. Listen again, this time with a notebook. Now we zoom in. Play it again, but this time, pause often. When you hear a new word or expression, write it down. Try to guess the meaning based on the context, then confirm using a dictionary or the transcript if you have one. But don't just write the word. Write an example sentence. Make it personal. Connect it to your life. That's how vocabulary sticks. Step 4. Shadowing. This is where your speaking gets a workout. Shadowing means repeating what the speaker says as they say it. Yes, at the same time. Try to match their tone, rhythm, and pronunciation. At first, it'll feel hard, but with practice, your fluency and accent will dramatically improve. This is the closest thing to real-life speaking practice without needing a partner. Step 5. Summarize the episode. When you're done listening, try to summarize the episode out loud in English, or write it down. Try to explain the main ideas and the details in your own words. If you struggle, that's a sign to go back and review. If you can summarize smoothly, congratulations, you truly understood the content. Step 6. Re-listen later in the week. Repetition is your best friend. Don't just listen once and move on. Schedule a time, maybe 2 or 3 days later, to listen again. You'll catch things you missed before, and the vocabulary will sink deeper into your memory. Let's stop here for a moment. Imagine what would happen if you followed this routine for just 3 podcast episodes per week. That's maybe 90 minutes total, but in that short time, you're improving your listening, speaking, vocabulary, pronunciation, comprehension, and confidence. Most people think progress requires hours and hours of work, but it doesn't. What matters more is how you use your time. This is focused, intentional practice. This is how you learn smarter, not harder. So the next time you press play on an English podcast, don't just listen. Train. Break it down. Speak with it. Write from it. Reflect on it. Podcasts aren't just background sound. They're powerful learning tools, but only if you use them the right way. And that's what you're now ready to do. Now, let's talk about the part of language learning that no one can see, but it controls everything: your mindset. You can have the best tools, the best podcast strategy, the perfect study plan, but if your mindset isn't right, none of it will stick. So many English learners give up too early, not because they're lazy or unmotivated, but because they feel like they're failing. They think, "I'm not learning fast enough," or "Everyone else speaks better than me." Sound familiar? Let me tell you something important. Progress in English is never a straight line. Some days you'll feel like you're improving fast. Other days, nothing will make sense. That's normal. That's how real learning works. It's not linear. It's messy, and that's okay. You are not a machine. You're a human being. And language is emotional. It connects to confidence, identity, fear, and even self-worth. So let's reset that mindset right now. First, stop comparing your English to someone else's. You don't know how long they've been learning, how much they practice, or what kind of support they have. Focus on your lane, your journey, your voice. Your English is a reflection of your path, your effort, your story. And guess what? That's enough.
Second, don't confuse slow progress with no progress. If you're showing up, even just a little, your brain is learning quietly, gradually, deeply. It's like planting seeds. You don't see the growth at first, but one day, boom, it all clicks. Sometimes your progress is invisible until one day you surprise yourself. You understand a full podcast. You answer a question without thinking. You say something in perfect English and realize it after you say it. Third, embrace mistakes. Mistakes are not failure. They're feedback. Every time you mess up a word, forget a phrase, or say something wrong, your brain gets a signal. Let's fix that. That's how real improvement happens. Think about kids. How many mistakes do they make when they're learning to speak? Hundreds, thousands. But no one says, "Oh, this baby isn't talented." We support them. We cheer for them. You deserve that same kindness from yourself. Let me share a quick story. One of my students, Diego, came to me completely discouraged. He'd been listening to English podcasts for months and felt stuck. He thought he just wasn't good at languages. But we changed his approach. We made a simple study routine like the one I showed you in the last section. More importantly, we worked on his mindset. I told him, "You're not behind. Your building that shift made all the difference." 2 months later, he sent me a voice message, all in English, confident, clear, and powerful. He didn't magically become fluent overnight. He simply stayed consistent, believed in the process, and kept going, even when it felt hard. And that's what I want for you. So here's your reminder. You are capable. You are improving. You are allowed to take your time. There is no race. There is no deadline. What matters is consistency, not perfection. And yes, it's okay to rest. It's okay to slow down. Learning English isn't about being perfect. It's about moving forward, one step at a time. So keep showing up, keep listening, keep believing that the work you're doing is enough, because it is. In the final section, I'm going to give you a clear, simple action plan. Something you can start today to turn your podcast time into real results. But for now, take a deep breath and tell yourself, "I'm doing better than I think." You made it to the final part. Well done. That already says something powerful about you. You're serious about your growth. Now it's time to turn everything you've learned into real action. Because learning English with podcasts isn't just about knowing what to do. It's about actually doing it. It's about turning passive habits into intentional routines that move you forward day by day. Let's break it down into a simple action plan you can start today. Step 1. Pick one podcast episode. Choose something that sparks your interest. Don't overthink it. Just pick one. Maybe it's about travel, business, self-development, or daily English conversations. Whether it's 5 minutes or 30 minutes long, what matters is that you take the first step. Step 2. Follow the routine. Use the strategy we talked about. Listen once without stopping. Listen again and write down new vocabulary. Practice shadowing. Summarize it out loud or in writing. Re-listen later in the week. You don't have to do every step perfectly. Just focus on building momentum. Start with one step and then stack on more as it becomes easier. Step 3. Track your wins. Start a small notebook, journal, or voice memo log. Record what you're learning. Write new phrases, favorite expressions, or just how you felt after each session. These small records become your proof of progress. And on the tough days, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. Step 4. Be consistent, not extreme. You don't need 3 hours a day. You need 15 focused minutes. That's all. It's not about doing a lot once. It's about doing a little often. Show up for yourself. Make it a habit. Attach it to something you already do, like your morning coffee or your evening walk. Step 5. Celebrate everything. Every new word you learn. Every time you finish an episode. Every mistake you correct. Celebrate it. These aren't small wins. They are proof that you are becoming the English speaker you want to be. Let me remind you of something powerful. The people who succeed in English learning are not the smartest, the richest, or the most talented. They are the most consistent. They show up, even when it's hard. They keep going, even when it's slow. And that can be you. You now have everything you need. A method, a mindset, a mission. So don't wait. Choose your first episode, follow the steps, build your system, and let English become something you use, not just study. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need a perfect accent. You just need to start. Make podcasts your classroom. Make your notebook your lab. Make your voice your strongest tool. And if you ever get stuck, come back to this video. Let it remind you of the path and how to walk it. Before we close, I want to thank you deeply for watching. Your time and energy matter. And I hope this video gave you value, clarity, and a new level of motivation. If this helped you, please give it a thumbs up. It tells YouTube this content matters. And if you're not yet subscribed, hit that button now. Join the Speak Power Daily community. We're here to support each other, learn together, and grow stronger every day. Remember, English isn't just a language. It's a key to new opportunities, deeper connections, and a wider world. And guess what? You're already learning how to use it. I'll see you in the next episode.